loves, welcome to this video. My name is Gazal Kothari if you don't know me already, and today we are going to ace the base. Let's start. First things first, we put our hair back. Foundation is the base, correct? Not. The base is always your skin prep and your primer. So for my skin prep, I'm going to take the Garnier Wrinkle Lift. Now, if you're oily and you think that you don't need moisturizer, well, you do. No matter what skin type, you do need moisturizer based on your skin type. So you can take an oil-free moisturizer if you're more on the oily side. I am normal to dry, and make sure you massage it very nicely into the skin, and you don't want to keep on layering 1 second after the other. You want to wait for like 20 to 30 seconds, let this sink in. More time, great, but at least 30 seconds. You can give yourself a massage. You lift your cheeks up, you lift this up. I really don't know what this massage is called. And when you're massaging your eye, you go inward so that you're not pulling and tugging on your eyes, just slightly. It's kind of dewy because that's how this moisturizer is. Now again, I will be taking this oil on the higher points of my face because I'm not oily, I am normal to dry again. This is from Nykaa. Just going to drop it on my palms, about 3 drops of this. Don't go directly on your face like this because it's going to touch your face and then it's going to go back inside. It's super unhygienic and you end up wasting a lot of product. Again, I'm just going to tap this. I usually like tapping my products and not like rubbing it, but you could kind of rub it if you want, but do it the right way. Now, like you can see, I am keeping it on the outer periphery because my T-zone can get oily, for which I will be using a mattifying primer. So do use a primer basis the problem that you want to, work with. I am going to take about this much, just on the T-zone, because I don't want the rest of my face to get very dry. If you're oily, you can use this on the high points of your face or wherever you think you get oily. And a little bit, I will be covering up my acne because this does kind of smooth out the texture of my skin, and I do have a little bit of acne right now. Again, you can dab or you can like rub it. I like dabbing everything. Now, why primer is because the reason your foundation breaks down is because of the oils from within, right within your skin. So the skin and the foundation, there has to be a layer in the middle, which is the primer. You can't really get away without it and just by saying that I will powder it up, because powdering will dry out your skin, which will lead your skin to produce more sebum, that is the oils that your skin produces, and that's again just going to break down your foundation. So everything in moderation is good. Before we move on to foundation, let me talk to you a little about color correcting. Now, I don't have a lot of dark circles, but if you do, you can slightly color correct. You don't need to cover your face with color correctors and everywhere and all of that. It's just going to cake up. Now again, I have dark circles, right? They are bluish or blackish in tone, which is why I will use an orange color corrector. Now, I don't have a color corrector, but for this purpose, I will be using a peach lipstick. And yeah, I will just take a little on my hand and I will correct it. Now again, if you don't have a color corrector, it's fine, you might not even need it. I'm just doing this to show you a little on this side, and on this side I'll just directly go in with foundation and then concealer. Now some people go concealer and then foundation, but I like foundation first so that once my face is covered in foundation, I know where I need concealing. Now again, this ever so slightly I have applied. You can apply a concealer that is maybe one tone darker, in the sense a little peachier than your skin tone, which will correct your dark circles anyways, because peach cancels out the blueness. It cancels out the blues and the blacks. And if you have a lot of redness, you can use a green corrector, but very little, because it can pale you out. Now let's go in with foundation and then we'll see the difference. I'm using the Fit Me foundation from Maybelline. I am in the shade 128 Warm Nude. I like to use a sponge. You can go in with a brush. If you have acne, do dabbing motions even with your brush. Don't move it around. And when you're using a sponge, again, do dabbing motions. Dab, dab, dab. Because we don't want to move the foundation around. We want to put it into the skin, right? Not like really into the skin, but like we want it to blend well. Now I am going to put foundation under my eyes. Some people don't do that because they think covering it up with concealer will just be adding more layers, but I like to do it because I can live without concealer. I mean, if I don't need it, I will not put it, right? But I just want an even base first. Now on the eyes, again, I'm putting very minimum product. For the eyes, an eye primer is the best thing to do if you're doing eyeshadow. You can put concealer and foundation if you don't have an eye primer, but again, it contains moisture, so it will break you down. It will kind of break down eventually, because of the oil production. Eyelids are usually very oily. I don't have oily eyelids, so that's okay. But if you're like doing it on someone else, eye primer is the best way to go. Now again, this is slightly more concealed and put together as compared to this, because here is where I sort of used the peach corrector. I don't know if you can really tell the difference, but I can see. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use slightly bit more foundation. And you can go up to your ears and down your neck. For this video, I'm not going to do it because I'm really not going anywhere. And even when I go out, I really don't use foundation. Make sure your hairline is done. We don't want a stark line away or whatever. No. And you can keep blending it, really. It will just give you more of a skin-like finish. Again, your foundation depends on your skin type. Make sure you read the ingredients. It should be oil-free if you're an oily skin type, or luminous, matte, dewy, whatever, based on your skin type. Very important, guys. Now again, if you have a lot of dark circles and they're not concealed just by foundation, you go in with a concealer which is your shade. Do not try to brighten it directly, because it's just going to be something white that is lighter than your skin tone on something black that is your dark circles. It will make your under eyes look grey. We don't want that. We want a very skin-like look. It's okay if you don't brighten it, but don't try to kind of do it wrongly, because that can give you a very ashy and a very grey look. No one's a fan of that. For this video, I'm going to use two different concealers. One is a brightening concealer, which is one shade lighter than my skin tone, and one is exactly my skin tone. It matches my foundation exactly. So here where I have lesser darkness as compared to this side, now it's kind of even, but still I do feel this side has slightly lesser darkness. I'm going to use the lighter concealer and just this much. This, when I blend out, it's going to look fine. This is enough. You don't need to make like those big triangles. No. That is a lot of product, and the more you cake up your face, the more you think you need powder, and the more oil production, all of that, guys. Makeup is about really enhancing yourself. Love yourself, guys. Now again, it's slightly brighter, just this area, if you see, it's a little brighter. Now I'm going to go in with the concealer that is exactly my shade. This will perfectly conceal the eyes without it looking very ashy or grayish. Now you can go ahead and brighten this, but I usually don't like caking up my face. I am fine without the brightening part. And that brightening is also called kind of highlighting the face right there. So don't mix it up with highlighting versus highlighting. The glitter highlighting that we do, that is different. We'll come to that in another video. Now to set this base, I'm going to go in with this loose powder. You can use a compact, but again, that is if you need more coverage, or you can just use a loose powder if you don't want a lot of coverage and you just want to set it. Now before I set my under eyes, I will go in once more to sort of get rid of any creasing. Again, if you're talking, you get these lines, so I'm just going to sort of fade those lines out, like blend the foundation. I'm just going to take a little in the cap and with a fluffier brush. It's not like the biggest, but it's not very dense. I'm going to tap off the excess and I'm going to kind of dab the product across my face. And when it comes to the eyes, dab slightly. It's okay if you go a little like this, but not too much. It will come with practice, guys. And even across the face, dab. I don't like to do this because it might move my foundation. Not literally move it, but you know, still kind of a little bit move it around. So I just dab it. This way you use minimum powder and you know your foundation is still set. It's not going to be tacky. If your foundation is of the type that does not need powder, go ahead. It's not a rule that you have to use powder. You really have to play with the kind of products that you have and what is needed as opposed to what everyone is doing. Now, I don't like baking because it dries out the under eyes, and like I said, more powder, more dry your skin gets and more it's going to produce sebum. So I don't like it, and it might not suit everyone. So again, if you're doing it on someone else without really knowing how it will sit well or not on their skin, try to avoid it. And yeah, that is it, guys. This is the final result. I'll just zoom you a little. I'll come closer actually. Now here you can see I have not really covered it, but this area is a little dry, so I really don't like to go into it with foundation, but you can totally do it. But otherwise I think it looks pretty good. Of course the bumps, the texture will show, but that is how we got the final base. This will last you a really good time because you have primed your skin, most importantly, and you have powdered it in moderation. I have. But yeah, it is more what's on the inside, you know, as opposed to what's on the outside, like the general rule. But that goes here as well. So make sure the base, the primer, the skin prep is good. and your foundation will not cause you a lot of problems. So yeah, let me know what else you would like to see. If you like this video, do let me know your foundation routine. Come chat in the comments, and bye.